100 Amazing Facts Around the World.
Will Purvis, who was convicted of murder in 1894 and had always maintained his innocence, told the jury he would live longer than the lot of them. He survived a hanging, was reincarcerated, and eventually pardoned and released. He died in 1938, 3 days after the last juror had died. You will be the last person to die in your lifetime. During Prohibition, Al Capone made $60 million a year from selling alcohol. At up to 30 feet long, the reticulated python is the longest snake. With 800 languages spoken, New York City is the world's most linguistically diverse city. Because of the lack of funding, Elon Musk had to invest his own money into the development of SpaceX rockets. Currently, the company has a $1.6 billion contract with NASA for resupply missions and eventually ferrying people to and from the International Space Station. Without a visual reference point, humans are incapable of walking in a straight line. If blindfolded or lost in terrain devoid of landmarks, we tend to walk in circles. Female domestic cats are significantly more likely to be right paw dominant, and male cats typically favor their left paw. The Daniang Kunchen Grand Bridge is a 169-kilometer-long viaduct on the Beijing-Shanghai high-speed railway. It is the world's longest bridge. The bridge is located on the rail line between Shanghai and Nanjing in Jiangsu Province. Smokey the Bear's original name was Hotfoot Teddy. Clint Eastwood booted Philip Kaufman as director of The Outlaw Josie Wales and assumed the job himself. In response, the Directors Guild of America created the Eastwood Rule that prohibits an actor or producer from firing the director and then becoming the director himself. In 1961, James Monahan, co-founder of Domino's Pizza, traded his 50% stake in the company to his brother Tom for a used Volkswagen. Tom went on to sell his 93% for $1 billion. In the early days of iTunes, Universal Music Group deducted artists' iTunes royalties for costs such as packaging and breakages on digital downloads. Eminem sued them. Mahatma Gandhi first employed nonviolent civil disobedience to fight for Indian civil rights in South Africa. At age 23, he went to South Africa to work and spent 21 years there before returning to India in 1915. An ultracarepidarian is a person who expresses opinions on matters outside the scope of their knowledge or expertise. Human babies only blink once or twice per minute. On average, adults blink about 10 times per minute. When Edward I of England was coming back from the Ninth Crusade in 1272, he learned that his father had died and that he had been made King of England. Instead of returning home to be crowned, Edward went on a leisurely trip to Italy and France for almost 2 years and only came back in 1274. James Dean only made 3 films: Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant. The German invasion of the Soviet Union caused 95% of all German army casualties that occurred from 1941 to 1944. Due to human efforts, the ozone layer will recover to 1980 levels by 2050, and will be fully repaired by 2070. An Oregon woman named Sadie Renee Johnson started a 50,000-acre wildfire and later told authorities that her firefighter friends were bored and needed work. During World War II, the code word for Hitler was "crazy white man" for the Comanche code talkers. When Patrick Stewart was first asked to consider playing Professor X on film, the actor had no idea who the character was. So when one of the producers handed him an X-Men comic from her desk, he responded, "What am I doing on the front of a comic book?" In 1567, a man who was said to have the world's longest beard died after tripping over said beard while trying to escape a fire. There are more card deck combinations than there are atoms on Earth. There's a chapel in Spain that's inside of a volcano. Santa Margarita de Sacat Chapel sits inside of a 2,238-foot volcano. Goats have rectangular pupils to spot their predators from all directions. That means they can almost see behind them as well. Researchers say a vigorous sex can help you burn up to 5 calories per minute. 5-time Tour de France winner, Miguel Indurain, had a resting heart rate of just 28 beats per minute. The average person has a resting heart rate of about 60 beats per minute. 70% of men watch porn compared to just 33% of women. Women also tend to tune in with their partner, while men are happier to view porn alone. Violet Jessop survived 3 of the largest ship disasters in history. The sinking of the Titanic in 1912, Olympic ship collision in 1911, the sinking of the Britannic in 1916. The word "friends" is said in every episode of the show Friends. Grave robbers once stole Charlie Chaplin's body. 2 men stole the body and contacted Chaplin's widow, Una, to demand $600,000 for the return of the corpse while also threatening her children. Déjà vu is just a brain processing lag. When PayPal was started, they gave $20 to everyone that opened an account and $20 for every person they referred. This cost them $60 to $70 million, but they had 100,000 customers in the month PayPal went online. Charles Darwin frequently ate the animals he studied. In 2009, Robert Downey Jr. was detained at a Japanese airport and held for 6 hours after authorities ran his passport and saw he'd failed to mention his previous convictions. He was eventually allowed to attend the Iron Man premiere on the terms that he never returned to Japan again. Sesame Street's Snuffleupagus character has a first name, Aloysius. The New York Times ran a typo every day for more than 100 years. Koalas have one of the smallest brains in proportion to body weight of any mammal. Black ice cream, made from coconut ash, became very trendy in 2016. However, New York City banned it in 2018 as it posed health risks. The most expensive hotel room in the world is the Empathy Suite at the Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, which costs $100,000 per night. At up to 38 pounds, the Trumpeter Swan is the heaviest North American flying bird. Until 1993, the BT Tower was an official state secret despite being a 177-meter tall structure in the middle of central London that was open to the public. Mushrooms can create a slight breeze even when the air is calm. They release water vapor, cooling the air and creating a convective current that gets the air moving, carrying spores away from the parent. If you remove the empty space from atoms, all of humanity could fit inside an apple. YouTube was founded on Valentine's Day and started as a dating app. There's a person buried on the moon. Eugene Shoemaker was considered one of the founders of planetary science and after a career filled with stellar accomplishments. When he passed away in 1997 during one of his trips, his wife, Carolyn, sent his ashes to the moon in a metal cylinder. Composer Oscar Hammerstein II is the first and only person named Oscar to win an Oscar. Pumpkins, watermelons, avocados, and bananas are all berries while strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries are not. To thank Robin Williams for his work on Aladdin, and to settle a dispute they had between them, Disney sent him a late Pablo Picasso painting worth $1 million. On The Lucy Show in 1962, Vivian Bagley was the first regular character on U.S. television that was a divorcee. Pablo Picasso's full name was Pablo Diego José Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Maria de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso. Rick Rescorla saved all but 6 of his 2,700 employees during the 9/11 attacks by directing people down the stairs using a bullhorn and encouraging them by singing Cornish songs. Nikola Tesla was able to do integral calculus in his head, leading his teachers to believe he was cheating. Without its mucus lining, your stomach would digest itself. Stomach ulcers are areas where the stomach begins to digest itself. There are no rhyming words for month, bulb, wolf, walrus, rhythm, husband, or woman. The elephant's closest relative is a guinea pig-like creature, the rock hyrax, a small rodent-like mammal that lives in Africa and the Middle East. A windstorm in Australia nearly interrupted the moon landing broadcast. The reason the Leaning Tower of Pisa is tilted is the same reason it's still standing. The tower does not resonate with earthquake ground motion. The first movie ever to release a soundtrack was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Lego translates to play well in Danish. The Tesla Model S was awarded a 5.4 out of 5 safety rating from the National Highway Safety Administration, the highest rating ever given an automobile. Earthworms have 5 hearts. Samsung originally sold noodles. It wasn't until 1970 that they started selling electronics. Oysters can change their gender depending on which is best for mating. Once a year in parts of England, flying ants migrate. Seagulls catch and eat them and then become drunk off the ants' formic acid, causing them to crash into buildings and moving cars. Butterflies taste with their feet. In 1999, hackers revealed a security flaw in Hotmail that permitted anybody to log into any Hotmail account using the password "eh". Your body contains enough carbon to make 900 pencils. Frogs don't drink water at all. Whenever they need water, they absorb it through their skin. During his time as a congressman and later the U.S. president, John F. Kennedy donated all of his salary to charity. Pork is the world's most widely eaten meat, poultry is second, beef is third. Bob Marley's wife, Rita, was shot in the head during his attempted assassination. However, she had dreadlocks so thick, they saved her life. Hexacogioi hexacontohexaphobia is the fear of the number 666. Lord of the Rings dwarves are supposed to speak with Arabic or Hebrew accent, resulting in dwarven place names like Hazadum and Moria, not Scottish as per popular culture today. The bison is the U.S. national mammal. The bald eagle is the U.S. national bird. Tapeworms that are around 30 feet long have been found living in the intestines of some people. In the 1870s, William Shanks spent 15 years of his life calculating pi to 707 places by hand. However, the last few years were wasted as he made a mistake after the 527th digit. Elephants can smell water up to 12 miles away. The Nazis tried to hide the fact that the first gasoline car in Germany was made by a Jew named Siegfried Marcus. Our nose and ears keep on growing throughout our lifetime. Horseshoe crabs have 10 eyes spread all over their body. They have eyes on top of their shell, on their tail, and near their mouth. Bookkeeper and bookkeeping are the only 2 English words with 3 consecutive double letters. In some circumstances, female dragonflies fake death to avoid mating. The process is called sexual death feigning. A female dragonfly will drop to the ground, as if dead, to avoid an overly aggressive male. Steve Jobs was an executive producer on Toy Story. The United Kingdom has the longest official name of any country. Its official name is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Back to the Future was rejected by Disney. They said a mother falling in love with her son is not appropriate for a family film. Joe Arity was named happiest inmate on death row. He had an IQ of 46 and played with a toy train given to him by the warden. Due to his lack of understanding, he smiled on his way to the gas chamber. In 2009, a Kansas City car dealer named Max Motors gave away a voucher for a free AK-47 with each truck purchased during a sale. Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Kurt Cobain all died at age 27. Catfish have more taste buds than any other animal. They have over 100,000 taste buds, both in their mouth and all over their body. Humans have about 10,000. The Maldives is the lowest elevation country. It is composed of 1,200 mostly uninhabited islands in the Indian Ocean with a maximum elevation of 6 feet. Sting wrote the song Every Breath You Take at the same desk which Ian Fleming used to write his James Bond novels. It was at the Fleming Villa in Jamaica. In 1982, the movie Tron was not considered for a visual effects Oscar because they felt the filmmakers had cheated by using computers. Actor Leonard Nimoy once gave a cab ride to John F. Kennedy. In order to advertise their services, prostitutes in ancient Greece wore sandals that left the words, "Follow me," imprinted in the dirt as they walked. Japanese automaker Nissan uses the number 23 in motorsport racing because the number 2 translates to NI, and the number 3 translates to San. With the addition of another S, 23 translates to Nissan. In 2001, DEA attempted to ban glow sticks from parties by labeling them as drug paraphernalia.
World Top 20.
Thanks for watching.
For more videos, please like the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel.
We wish you a fruitful day ahead.
And remember, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.